This country is like a big marketplace for the whole world, where everybody come to pursue their career, where everybody come for protection, where people come to hide themselves, where people don't think they don't have no hope, become hopeful and big in future.
So he didn't give like a ton of information about how he crossed, but yeah. So I mean, it seems fairly straightforward, fairly legit. I just wanted to double check. Yeah, he knows all that. He's like, I only need like 3 weeks until I have enough money to rent. So, okay, it seems like it would be okay, but I just wanted to double check. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, so it looks like we're probably gonna do an intake. Ok, creo que podemos ofrecerle hospedaje y por eso pasarle y practicamos un poco más en la oficina, ¿ok? Ok, está bien.
It's very important to us to use the word hospitality. Human beings are to be extended hospitality.
¿Habla inglés?
Poquito.
Certainly, something that you can generally say the people who have passed through our houses have in common is that they are, across the board, they are the poor.
Bienvenido a la Casa Annunciation. Nuestra casa es su casa y queremos que se sienta bienvenido. La Casa Annunciation ofrece hospedaje solamente de emergencia para personas y familias verdaderamente necesitadas y sin ningún recurso. La casa está sostenida por la gracia de Dios y el trabajo voluntario de los trabajadores encargados y los huéspedes de la casa. Respeto en la casa. No toque las cosas de otra persona. Y eso es porque no queremos la policía o la migra, no queremos la atención de ellos. Okay. Perfecto.
We are dealing with people who have a great deal on their plate. When they arrive, somebody is willing to treat a total stranger in this manner. Let's begin. Okay. I need to check to see if people are still asleep. No, it's fine. This is our men's dorm. The men who come to our house come primarily from Mexico, but they also come from Central American countries. We also have people who come here that are from other continents. People are surprised to learn that. They're surprised to learn that how does someone make their way to El Paso, Texas?
A lot of the folks, particularly people coming from Guatemala, El Salvador, other parts of Central America, they have hopped trains. The journey is one that's really extremely dangerous. There's a lot of gangs that know there's a lot of Central Americans on these trains migrating up north. Some people get hurt, some people drop off along the way to work in Mexico. If you do make it over the border without anything happening to you, or make it through being in Juarez for a few days while you wait it out and try to come over, and then you finally come here and you knock on the door and you're not really sure who's going to answer the door. For a few days, you don't have to worry about a white SUV with a green stripe from Border Patrol chasing you. You don't have to worry about gangs. You don't have to worry about any of those things, and you can just be.
Here we have one of our guests, Victor. Victor is originally from Cuba. He was raised in Belize, and Victor was in detention for 7 months. For 7 months, and when he was finally released, he came to Annunciation House, and Victor has been staying with us, and a wonderful person, and is now finally was possible to obtain employment authorization for him, and so he's now in the process of looking for work so that he can take the next step forward.
Yes,
and Victor is wonderful at irony.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you, sir.
we're very happy that Victor is with us.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. One of the things that is very much a part of the work that we do, and as we go up the stairs, and this mural of Our Lady of Guadalupe that was painted by one of our guests speaks to the tremendous faith that our guests have. The phrase "Primero Dios" over and over and over again, when they arrive, is "Primero Dios," God willing.
At the very least, if we can share this space and share in conversation and create a home, even for a few days after someone's been through a horrendous journey, and to give some space for reprieve and reflection and peace before they move on to the next frightening part of their journey, that's really basic, and that's what we do here.
We set Thursdays, and so every Thursday this group would meet, beginning at the end of 76 and then meeting every Thursday. From that group that had been meeting for over a year, 5 of us made the decision to give up our jobs, stop going to college if that's what we were doing, and we moved into the second floor. And then we just started walking the streets to try and understand who are the poor. But then one day, someone came back to us and said, "Where you sent me, they will not help me." And when we asked why, the answer came back, "Porque no tenemos papeles." We are undocumented. So we checked that out, and we found out that in 1978, if you were undocumented, neither of the 2 shelters would offer you a place to stay for the night. And so we took in someone, and then we took in a second and a third and a fourth, and little by little, we've taken in the undocumented, the refugee, all these years, and now there have been well over 100,000 people that we've provided hospitality to in our houses of hospitality. that has defined Annunciation House, you know, as a group of people who are wanting to make themselves available to accompany the poor in migration.
就是你们的规矩10点我们不能在这里，只有你们客人在这里的话 Katie 会来给我一个这个在这里
就是开玩笑，
不是开玩笑，真的。It was like a big religious movement in China, and the government claimed it was an anti-government movement, and she said we had no church, so my house was the church. And government officials came and they wanted names of people that were in the church, and she would not give them the names. So there was some physical abuse, but there was a lot of psychological and social abuse and threats and stuff against her. So she said she got out of jail and they were harassing at her house. They cut her hands and they continued to threaten her. And so in 1999, she left China and went to New York. 2 of her friends from her province in China went from New York to Los Angeles, and then later her and 2 other friends decided they would go to Los Angeles, and that's when they got caught. The 2 other women were deported, so her argument to the judge was a fear of going back to mainland China because of religious persecution, and so the judge granted her what's called a suspension of removal. She just wants to get to Los Angeles, she wants to get her own place, she wants to get some work, and her biggest fear is still China. She says, I can never go back to China, like I'm on a blacklist, and as soon as I go back, eventually, you know, they'll arrest me.
Awesome. Well, as long as the fish is escaping, it's good. Thank you so much.
Buenas noches, Fernando. Buenas noches, Alfonso y María Elena. Que descansa bien. Juan. No, ahora. Right now. Say goodbye. 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 Alejandro, hasta aquí, ¿verdad? Eddie is not Eddie. It's Eric. It's Miguel Ángel. Gracias, hombres. Buenas noches, hombres.
Buenas noches, Katy. Bye bye.
A lot of people travel up through Mexico. Central Americans travel up on the trains. The trains there are a lot slower moving, and so they get to the United States, and these trains are moving so much faster, and they just don't really realize what they're getting themselves into sometimes. And then just the physics of it, that it creates this vacuum under the wheels, and if you're not running fast enough, if you're not strong enough, holding on tight enough, you can just get sucked right under.
¿Qué van a hacer esta noche?
Pues queremos irnos para arriba, para el norte. Queremos irnos, primeramente Dios, hoy a las 9. Que llegue, que se preste la oportunidad, que Dios permita y se ponga un tren de modo donde nos podamos ir bien escondidos porque hay más chequeos de migración. Entonces, si se presta el tren, con el favor de Dios, que se ponga hoy este día, nos vamos para arriba, para Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas City. ¿Dónde
nos
te
vamos
puedes ir?
en cualquier vagón, pues si no traes escondite, pues la migra luego nos va a ver y nos va a bajar del tren y nos regresa para México otra vez. Ese es el problema.
¿Cómo se sienten?
Pues con nervios. Sí,
Nerviosos, un poco nerviosos, pero con la bendición de Dios nos vamos a ir primeramente a Él, que permita que lleguemos hasta allá con bien. Sí.
Nos habían comentado de una casa de por aquí, pero no sabemos dónde, donde llegaba uno en la noche y le daban asilo, pero a las 5 de la mañana lo sacaban para afuera uno. Y aquí no. Pues, son muy buenos los voluntarios.
¿Qué volé?
¿Qué hubo? Sí. Bueno. Sí, ya estamos. ¿Ya están afuera? ¿Mande? Sí, donde mismo, donde en la tarde. Ahí vamos. Sale.
¿Por teléfono?
Sí.
Ok.
No, pues ya está, llegaron por nosotros.
¿Y van a salir?
Sí. Ahorita es el momento de partir de una vez.
Se agarra sus cosas.
Ya las agarramos.
Ya las tiene todo.
Ya tenemos todo listo.
Bueno, tienes nuestro número del teléfono.
Sí.
Todo?
Sí.
Nos marquen.
Sí.
Y ahí sí llegan.
Sí.
Puede.
Ok. Eric, deja.
Vamos a ver.
Vale, pues nos vemos.
It's not a question of what's legal or illegal. It's a question of what's the right thing to do. And I don't see these people as illegals. I see them as human beings trying to find a better life for themselves, and a life that was handed to me on a platter. And they have to jump trains. They have to risk their lives, risk detention, risk death, just to feed their children. In the end, all we're doing is helping. We're giving clothes to them, to those that have no clothes. We're giving a house to those who don't have anywhere to stay, and food to hungry people. That's not illegal. That's the gospel.
People are always fascinated by why is it that Border Patrol just doesn't shut you down? Why doesn't immigration shut you down? And I'm not sure that I have an answer for you. As ironical as it may sound to people, we get requests from Border Patrol to take people in from immigration. I'll give you the example of recently. We had immigration call us up and say, we detained a woman from El Salvador who is 7 months pregnant. And they called us up and they asked us, we've made the decision that we are not going to detain her. We're going to release her. We don't want to see her on the street. will you give her hospitality? And we said, yes, we will. So she's with us now. We recently were asked to take in a man from Rwanda, Victor, who you met a little while ago. When they decided to release him, they call us. So you have this almost schizophrenic relationship where on this side, immigration calls us and says, we don't want to see these people on the street. Will you provide them hospitality? You know, who knows? Maybe someday some federal attorney will attempt a prosecution for what we do. If that day ever does come, then we will deal with it because that's the cost of the gospel.
But Ting did not have any connections in California with family or anything like that. So Katie, who was Ting's contact volunteer, she started just like calling shelters like Annunciation House in LA. And finally, we just called the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, and the sister called me back today and she said, no problem. She will have a space here, she'll have her own room, she'll be 15 minutes from Chinatown. We'll have people who can help translate some Mandarin. We're in contact with the Asia Pacific Legal Resource Center, and they're going to do some pro bono immigration legal stuff with Ting. So there you go. Yeah. Is Alicia of California? I'm going to bring Ting down here.
Okay.
And they asked if they could record me talking with her, but we got her a place, but she doesn't know yet. So done.
Tell her right now?
Yeah. But I wanted to tell her with you there because you've been very...
yeah.
And Katie's not here, so I'm just going to kind of walk in and... Alicia.没有，我们有好消息。找到了。Los Angeles。所以有一位修女是一个天主教的，叫做 Alexandria House。所以今天打电话给我说，一定在。那你要不要告诉他们？要不要告诉露露？哦 ，She's gonna call you on the phone。还有写信，你会写信给他？你不写信，你会画画。And her pictures too. She can do her pictures.
Congratulations! Ding!
Cuando salimos del Paso, salimos a la 1 de la mañana, pero duramos 24 horas arriba del tren. Tuvo como unas 2 paradas el tren en el transcurso de las 24 horas. Y llegamos hasta aquí pasó, o sea, le dio más recio. Y ahí donde está eso blanco, ahí nos bajamos. Y de ahí caminamos para allá cuando se acabó el tren. Pero es tenebroso, andar arriba de un tren es tenebroso, Cris. La verdad, es mucho ruido, mucho enfado. Los oídos llegué así, con la cabeza explotándome de tanto ruido. Pero mira, aquí andamos, Cris. Gracias a Dios que aquí estamos.
No hemos preguntado eso.
Entonces, valía la pena.
Sí. Sí, porque en México ganas lo que es $50 allá, pero a la semana. Toda la semana y ganas $50, que viene siendo 500 pesos. Y aquí $50 te lo ganas en 6, 7 horas. Y allá no, a la semana. Por eso es que aquí sí hemos estado haciendo cosas para allá. Más que nada para los niños de nosotros. Que son muchos y ocupan mucho de uno.
Sí, no es fácil, Cris. Está difícil andar por acá lejos. Está difícil, no es fácil. La verdad, sí se extrañan los hijos y más que nada los niños necesitan el cariño de uno, del padre, de la madre. Y mientras uno esté lejos, pues aunque les hables, no es la misma que estés tú con ellos. O sea, no es la misma, no crecen igual. Pero tengo que aguantar, ya estoy aquí. Me costó mucho llegar aquí como para regresarme.
Sí, costó mucho.
Sufrí mucho en la frontera, sufrí 2 meses para pasar. Como para decir, ya me voy, agarro lo que he hecho y me voy. No, digo, tengo que hacer algo para poderme ir, la verdad, Cris. Pero no es fácil, Cris, no es fácil estar sin mis hijos. No es fácil, o sea, siento mucho, pero ahora sí que va a ser por un bien de ellos también. Dios es el que tiene la última palabra. Hasta donde diga Él, hasta aquí. Y ya si es de Él que nos avienten para atrás, pues ni modo, nos regresamos a gusto. De todas maneras somos de allá, Cris. Si nos regresan, malo que nos aventaran allá para Irak, ¿no? Allá con los indios de aquel lado. Pero pues nos avientan a nuestro país, vámonos contentos. Pero no, ojalá que no, porque queremos hacer algo. Algo para un bien por venir para nosotros y para nuestros hijos, Cris. Ponerles algún negocito allá, alguna tiendita o algo que produzca para poder sobresalir. Para poder sobresalir allá en México. ¿Cómo ves, Cris?
There are documented instances where the immigrant is now being taken to places and having their organs removed and fed into the underground trafficking of human organs, kidneys, livers. There are uncounted instances of rape and abuse of women and children. The work of Annunciation House responds to the human phenomena of the poor in migration who find themselves on the streets of El Paso. But it also is a work of advocacy, a voice of justice on behalf of the immigrant. When you ask me, you have a website. When you ask me that we are very open and public about what we do, that is advocacy. I want people to know about this human tragedy that is taking place. I want to find ways to get people to engage in a phenomena that is utterly unacceptable. I want people to understand how it is that they and we are connected to this tragedy that is taking place. Human beings are being totally discounted.
I left because I stopped feeling happy when people left the house to move on to their next step. I left because I would sit in the living room on the couch, and the men would be horrified to know that I'm saying this. And I would just listen to them breathe, and I would think, okay, for tonight, I know that everybody who's in the house is safe. I knew that they were there. We do bed checks to see if we have any empty spaces. And then in the morning or in the evening when people would leave to try to train hop or get past the checkpoint, in the morning when they came back, instead of thinking, oh, I'm sorry that you didn't make it this time, I'm sorry that you went through that last night, I thought, oh, thank whatever powers that be, you're back, because I know that you're here and I know that you're safe. When I couldn't keep myself from crying when guests were sharing their stories with me, I knew it was time to move on. And so I left, and it was, it still is the hardest thing that I've ever done to this day. That's okay.
I don't have no money, but I feed 3 times a day. I got shower soap, I got shower soap, I got shampoos, I got body cream, I got clothes, I got shoes. I even go to school for GED, free, I don't pay for it. There are the people that organize for everything.
And this place does nothing more than say, then recognize humanity and human dignity, and then we all have human dignity.
I think that the majority of people are going to understand that when you have human beings and basic human necessities, that as human beings, we are called to respond to those human needs. We provide hospitality to human beings because they're at our door, they have no place to sleep, they are hungry, they could be injured, and we could not be human beings and not offer a welcome.
What?